Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm worked up today. Today is a very big day in history, but most Americans either one, don't care, or just completely oblivious to why today is a big day in U.S. history. Huge day in U.S. history. So, your first hint is the Cartwright family home, sitting right behind me. Cartwrights. A lot of people just have no clue, like, what that even means. Because they're too young and I'm an old man. But this is and was one of the greatest running television shows of all time. Bonanza. So today is August 15th, Sunday, August 15th, 2021. 50 years ago today in U.S. history, a poor excuse of a United States president interrupted this really great show called Bonanza. At the time, it was the most popular show in the country, and he interrupted it to temporarily remove the United States from the gold standard. And we can get into the minutiae about what that means. So he temporarily suspended the ability to exchange U.S. currency for gold. That's what he did. And he announced it right before Bonanza started, because he knew that's when he'd have a large demographic watching the TV. So what did that mean? What it essentially means, well, initially it was supposed to be temporary, but 50 years is a long temporary time, isn't it? So clearly it wasn't temporary. It was permanent. And what he did is he basically made the US dollar a fiat currency. In other words, our dollar today is backed by nothing. A $100 bill is only worth $100 because you believe it is. Outside of that, it has no value. It has no intrinsic value. If I take a $100 bill and I just light it on fire until it burns to ashes, it's gone. That's it. As you can tell, I'm a little biased on where I'm going with this, but you need to know where that bias stems from. Number one is there is no fiat currency in the history of the world, all known time to mankind, that has ever survived. They all collapse. And guess what? The average time until that collapse is 50 years. That's ironic, considering that we are absolutely just, we are completely, how do I say it? We don't have respect for the fact that we hold what is now accepted as the global currency, the US dollar. We are fully just abusing that authority. And eventually the world is going to say, guess what? That doesn't make sense anymore. We're not going to send you our goods, things that we've put manpower into creating these products, and ship it to you for your fiat currency that you just print endlessly. Eventually the rest of the world wakes up to that. And we're real close to that point. And that's why I've been trying to stress on this channel, like, hey, this is what's coming. And I'm fired up about it because it sucks. And most people don't even realize it. Like, just go to their Walmart and buy all those Chinese goods. You know, here's something interesting about what Nixon said. Go back and look how he interrupted Bonanza. Go back and look how he preluded Bonanza, and says, look, people are worried about inflation. You don't have to worry about inflation because most of your US dollars are going to be used to buy US goods. US produced goods. That's what Nixon said at the time. Clearly, that is no longer the case. We don't produce crap. We don't produce jack. So, to give you an idea of just how bad things are, because I know a lot of people, smart people, in big positions that think, no, this is no, you're sounding the alarm, and Who cares if the stock market's overvalued? Doesn't matter if there's no price discovery anymore in the stock market. It just, Apple hasn't created anything significant in the past 2 years that I know, but their valuations have just tripled. How does that make sense to anybody? Well, it's because we're just pumping in a ton of liquidity into the markets. And that's where they start. But understand this, inflation always finds its home at the consumer level. That's where it's going to end up. And you see it now. And I've been saying this on the channel for months and months. And at first there were a bunch of naysayers. Oh, you're crazy. Jerome Powell said it's transitory inflation. It's not going to be here for long. No, we're still at the same level. So he said we want to run slightly above 2% inflation. Guess what we're at? We're at 5.4. Okay, so when that 5.4 number came out for June, everybody's like, ooh, yeah, that's a little higher than what we were expecting. That's slightly higher than 2%, right? Guess what? July, 5.4. It's not transitory, okay? Yes, I acknowledge there are supply chain disruptions that are aiding to elevated price hikes in certain areas, used cars as an example. But the chips for the new cars are what's stymieing new car sales, so now everybody's buying used cars, but that is temporary. And I could go so many places. I'm just crushed because this country used to mean something. America used to mean something, and our currency used to have value because it was attached to the idea that at least there was some percentage of the US dollar that was worth an exchange rate in gold. But look what our politicians do, and it doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on. I'm going to demonstrate that for you. I'm probably going to get upset a lot of Republicans, so hold tight. If you call yourself a Republican, I'm about to upset you. If you call yourself a Democrat, I'm really going to upset you. Because neither of these parties have the American middle class, best interest in mind. They only have their own political ambitions to pursue. That's all that matters to them. They don't care about you, your snot-nosed kids, or whether or not you get food or stimulus or any of it. They don't care. Okay, let me give you an example. See if I can do this without my lovely wife. Try to navigate this crap. Okay. For all of you that are short on memory, I just want to paint a picture of how much we've spent just in the past year and a half. Just in the past year and a half. Okay? Look here. When was it? March of 2020? Is that when this is from? Oh yeah, look at that. March 2020. Trump signs it's actually 2.2. They don't mark it. The 0.2 is a big deal to me, so I'm going to add the 0.2. Trump signs 2.2 trillion coronavirus bill into law as companies and households brace for more economic impact. Now, whether you agree with him doing that or you don't agree with him doing that, you can't deny that $2.2 trillion that he signed in March of 2020 was the absolute largest stimulus package in U.S. history under President Trump. $2.2 trillion. Well, yeah, but he had to do it for this reason or that reason. Okay, I disagree with you. We were already trillions of dollars in debt. We didn't have the money to do this. So I'm going to petition to you right now, if you're a Trump supporter, you cannot be a Trump supporter and a fiscal conservative. You can't be both. You got to choose one. I've been a fiscal conservative my whole life. Government spending has been out of control my whole life. I've recognized that, wow, these people, they don't have to balance a budget. They can just spend, because there's no adult in the house, right? So, 2.2 trillion, March of 2020. What happened next? Before he leaves office, Trump reverses on coronavirus stimulus deal, signs package he called the disgrace. Now, wait a minute. Why did he call this package a disgrace? Was he calling it a disgrace because it's $900 billion and more spending for stimulus? No. It's not because it was too much money. Trump called it a disgrace because it wasn't enough. He wanted Americans to get more paychecks, bigger paychecks. So he signs into law another $900 billion you see here. So 2.2 trillion at first, now another 900 billion. So before he leaves office, just in coronavirus, in reaction to the coronavirus, which I shouldn't even be saying because they're probably going to ban this video on YouTube, but just in reaction to it, he's already spent $3.1 trillion. Do you see what I'm saying? You can't be a Trump supporter and a fiscal conservative. The two don't mesh. You got to choose one or the other. I was disgusted by both of these, and you should have been too, because guess what? He gave a tax cut to the rich. And mind you this, that's great. I'm for tax cuts for anybody. So the rich got a tax cut, but guess what? The rich don't pay taxes. They pay really, really good attorneys to avoid the majority of taxes anyway. Ask Amazon. These people don't pay taxes. So who do you think is going to pay that 3.1 trillion he signed into law? You and me. But you're like, yeah, what? Are you crazy? Okay, now you're complaining that people are sitting on their butts at home. Well, Trump just signed 3.1 trillion. And now you get a Democrat in office, and guess what's going to happen now? You think the Democrat is going to practice austerity? Like he's going to come in and start like really clamping down on spending? Of course not, right? Can you tell I'm hot? Can you tell I'm angry?
I can't tell.
Oh, thanks, babe. You're the best of me. Look here. So Biden takes office March of 2021. What does he do? Another 1.9 trillion in spending. 1.9 trillion. So like I said, I'm terrible at math, but 3.1 on Trump, 1.9 on Biden. Okay, I said 3.1, right? And then 0.9, so that gives me an even 4, right, babe? Now let me do the math, because I'm terrible at math. And then another 1 trillion, right? Mm-hmm. So now I'm at $5 trillion. Do I got that math right? Mm-hmm. Between Biden and Trump, 5 trillion in less than a year and a half. And you don't think the markets are inflated. You don't think there's enough liquidity. We're still shedding 375 to 400,000 jobs per week. A lot of great that stuff did, right? But we're supposed to believe, oh, this economy is just so good. It's coming back. It's roaring back. No, it's not roaring back. Production hasn't increased. We haven't increased production. The only thing we've increased is our dollar. The amount of dollars. That's the only thing. Okay, so what happens next? Why am I so upset? Oh no. Look what happens. They've got more spending in mind. So the Senate now just passed a $1 trillion infrastructure bill. Okay? So again, I'm terrible at math, but and this is going to pass. Don't kid yourself, kids. It's going to pass. So now we're at $6 trillion. Surely that is enough spending. Like, where's the adult in the room? I'm looking for him. Give me somebody. I'll take Adam Sandler at this point. He's a grown-up. What happens? What are they going to do? No. Look, this is from August 11th, 2021. Senate approves framework of $3.5 trillion budget plan that would expand Medicare, tax credits, and climate initiatives. That's good spending. That seems like you guys are really looking out for that middle class there. Because the middle class is going to have to pay that back. Look, even if I grant that, okay, maybe a trillion of that 3.5 was the initial one that they're passed right now in the Senate. That still puts you at 8.5, according to my math. Or is it 9.5? Let's just say 8.5 to give them the grace, okay? I need to put that in perspective. Let's put 8.5 trillion in perspective. I want to know, like, I'm going to think about the first president after I turned 18. Who was it? I'm going to show my age here, but I believe Bill Clinton was in office.
Holy moly.
Oh, really? I'm going to have to check that. I think he was. So I wonder what was our national debt when Bill Clinton took office? Was it more than 8.5 trillion? All of the national debt. Was it 8.5 trillion? Because that's what they're looking at spending. Let's see. Let's see what it was. Oh, here he is. William J. Clinton. Look at that. Wow. Oh, at the start, when he took office, our national debt was a total of 4.4 trillion. That's all of our nation's debt. That's in my memory. I can remember when this guy was in the White House, and we only had our national debt was only at 4.4 trillion. We just spent over $6 trillion in less than a year and a half. You don't see what's coming? Folks, I started this channel because I know what's coming. And you ought to too. They're going to destroy the value of our currency. And then they're going to reset to some other currency. In the meantime, the middle class is going to be crushed. All you can do is pay down your debt. Make security number one. Get cameras up around your house. That was the very first thing my wife and I did. Cameras all over the place. You can't even fart on our sidewalk without me knowing it. It's true. So security's number one. Get yourself some protection as well. And whether that's a slingshot, bow and arrows, heavy artillery. Look, that's all the time I got. It's been 15 minutes. Glad you joined me on this rant. I'm not a financial advisor. Do not buy a house. They're so overvalued right now. Give it some time. Let the dust settle. These people are going to destroy our currency. So you need to know that. And hey, watch a rerun of Bonanza and remember when our dollar actually had value. All right? Take care, guys. We'll see you next week. I love you all. Thank you for supporting the channel. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Bye.